Created by Frank Miller, Elektra Natchios is one of the most influential female characters in Marvel Comics, landing right in between the brutality of Frank Castillo, aka the Punisher, who killed off criminals, and Matt Murdock, aka Daredevil, who would rather give the criminals to the police. Elektra was an assassin who chose her projects carefully and decided the fates of bad people according to her own moral compass. Elektra was quite the renowned assassin in the Marvel Universe, and it was not just because of her physical prowess. Standing at 5'9", Elektra had the body of an Olympic athlete, which helped her in her line of work, but there were more things that aided her. While she may not be a powerful telepath like Jean Grey, Elektra definitely was not lacking in that department, and in today's video, we will learn how exactly Elektra used her telepathic abilities to aid in her career as a dangerous assassin. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin. Who is Elektra? Reason behind her premature birth. So, back in the day, there was a very popular Greek businessman named Hugo Kostas Natchios. He was happily married to his wife Christina, as he was quite the rich man. There was nothing in this world that he could not give her if she asked for it. And when you have such a fulfilling life, what more could you possibly want other than a baby? While Christina was pregnant, Hugo took her out on a yacht for vacation. Now, obviously, if you are rich enough to have a private yacht, you are definitely rich enough to have someone plan a hit on you or your wife. That is exactly what happened to the Natchios family. While Hugo was not around, his enemies decided to attack his wife, and she was gunned down on their yacht. As Christina was pregnant at the time she was shot, Hugo had to make the tough decision and save his little daughter while trying to cope with the loss of his wife. This led to Elektra's birth in a premature state, but this is not the only version of her birth that we know of. It turns out that in the comics, there is another version where the mother passed away during the insurrection of the Greek Civil War. If you have seen the movie Elektra, which came out in the early 2000s and starred Jennifer Garner as the titular character, the backstory behind Elektra losing her mom was a little more different. This time around, she did not die when Elektra was a baby. This time, Elektra lost her mother when she was a young child. This time, her mother was killed by Kirigi, the leader of the Hand, a secret supervillain organization. However, no matter the backstory, the loss of her mother definitely affected Elektra because she often found herself plagued with vision. This pushed her to self-harm in order to cope with it, which forced her father to get her psychiatric help. When Elektra was 10 years old, her father decided that it would be for the best if she got martial arts training, and that was the beginning of Elektra's journey into becoming the assassin we know her as. She trained with her master and surpassed all of his expectations in 2 years. This pushed Elektra to look for the mysterious leader, Stick, who led a group known as Chast, who all trained to master the art of combat. Elektra found Stick and became his disciple, but this relationship did not last long because Stick found her to be too angry. This led to her being found by AKA, a member of the Hand, and by pretending to care about Elektra, AKA quickly won her trust. However, the Elektra that we know became this way after her father was accidentally gunned down by the police. This happened when Elektra was in university and had a rather passionate relationship with Matt Murdock. By this time, Hugo Natchios had become the Greek ambassador in the United States, and one day, Matt came to campus to find that Hugo and Elektra were both taken hostage. Matt went into the building to save them, and in the scuffle, one of the terrorists was kicked out of the window, as there were a lot of things happening at the same time. The police who were waiting outside assumed that the terrorists had actually started killing the hostages, and in these unfortunate circumstances, they killed off her father. This led to Elektra abandoning all of her faith in the law, as no one was punished for her father's death, and she disappeared from Matt's life only to come back later as the assassin dancing between the fine line of hero and anti-hero that we know and love. How does her brain work differently? Now, at one point, Elektra was killed, and she was resurrected by the Hand. This resurrection led to her forming a bond with the demon known as the Beast, whom the members of this supervillain organization worship. Now, being resurrected with demonic influence led to Elektra having some perks, and one such perk was the assassin's instinct. Nick Fury was the one who tested this out and confirmed this. When Elektra was captured, Nick Fury conducted some experiments on her, and that led to him finding out about her brain morphology. Elektra's brain morphology is not like ours, and this anomaly is the key factor that led to her being so good at moving according to her primal instincts. Now, while the strange morphology directly affected her movement, it did not affect her thinking, which allowed her to keep her human rationale while also acting on her more animalistic side when in fights. Can Elektra communicate with thoughts? Elektra was never known for her telepathic power, so when she came face to face with Wolverine in issue 29 of Wolverine, Fans were very surprised to see this new ability of hers. Everybody knew that the Hand had taken Elektra, killed her, and raised her from the dead. When Elektra helped crash a helicarrier carrying over 200 shield agents, nobody had any hopes left for her. Once the Hand killed off a young boy whom Wolverine was quite close to, Wolverine decided enough was enough. Armed with a rewired Sentinel that would follow his voice commands and hunt ninjas on his word, Wolverine decided to infiltrate the secret city of the Hand. As the Sentinels were one of the biggest threats that mutants faced, Wolverine assumed the ninjas would have a hard time defeating the Sentinel as well. But that was where he was wrong. Soon enough, the Sentinel crashed, and Wolverine went down with it. However, the people of the Hand wanted to have a little chat with him, and so he was allowed to enter the building of the secret city. Once inside, he met Elektra. While her eyes glowing red like the rest of the ninjas, Wolverine believed every word that Hand claimed about Elektra. When the leader told Elektra to attack him, she did. And while they were clashing their weapons against one another, Wolverine heard Elektra's voice in his head. Turns out, if anyone near her has the same levels of mental discipline, Elektra is able to telepathically communicate with them, using her thoughts and not her sound. This came in real handy for our heroes to figure out a way out of the secret city with their lives. Can Elektra control minds by projecting hers into others? Although limited in nature, Elektra does have a few psychic abilities that come in very handy in her line of work. The training that she went through with the Hand and the chast allowed her to refine her psychic ability and help her learn how to throw herself into someone's body. Well, I know that sounds very weird. Let me explain. When Elektra wants to get her target, instead of directly going to them, effectively blowing her cover, she throws her mind at people around her target. This is a sort of mind control that effectively swaps out the mind, effectively trapping their mind in her body, while she does her snooping around in their body, effectively going undetected. In the Elektra movie, the characters often mention that Elektra was always a few steps ahead of them, even if it seems very unlikely. If Elektra sets out to kill you, she will show up even when you least expect it. That is because Elektra uses this ability of hers to figure out exactly where her target is and what they are doing and then kills them off. One such instance is when she murdered an ambassador in South America. Elektra knew exactly where the ambassador was and how he was sitting, which led to her thrusting her blade through the wall at the right spot to pierce through the thick wallings and then through the ambassador. I do not know about you, but in my opinion, this handy-dandy ability of hers sure makes her quite a popular assassin with a high success rate. Cold and heat resistance. Does she have superpowers? Elektra went through a lot of rigorous training when she was being trained under the guidance of Stick. One of the few things that she learned was to withstand extreme temperatures. Obviously, as an assassin, you might end up in extreme weather conditions, and you cannot be picky about where you are doing your work. While she does not have any superpowers regarding this, the training that she went through to get used to extreme temperatures has often come in handy. This training was done so that she could regulate her breathing, which in turn would regulate her body, preventing her from succumbing to the extreme weather. This training played a huge role in her becoming the weapon she is, just like this type of training helped Batman and Green Arrow. Does Elektra face mental struggle? One of the biggest things that attracted fans to Elektra, other than her obvious skill set as an assassin, was her struggles. See, when it came to Daredevil, a lot of fans were sympathetic to the plight of a hero who lost his vision while trying to save someone from radioactive waste. Matt brought a lot of representation to the table with his story. When it comes to Elektra, it is pretty much the same. Elektra had a terrible, terrible life. She grew up without her mother, and she lost her mother in such horrific condition. Now her father, being the business mogul he was often targeted, and as his daughter, so was Elektra. When she lost her father, it was a shocking situation because Elektra really was not expecting that to happen. Losing her only remaining parent in such a stressful situation definitely left a mark on her. She has been training in martial arts since she was 10 years old. There are hints that suggest she was abused as a child too, but nothing too concrete. But the rigorous training that she went through definitely scarred her. The snarky comments about her being a rich girl who was wasting her father's money from her master also did not help. We also cannot forget that Elektra was actually institutionalized when she was young because she kept hearing voices and seeing vision, and it is definitely not easy to cope with such things. She has a past record of self-harming, and all of these mental illnesses are not a joke. Her struggles are something a lot of people relate to, and this makes her an extremely comforting character to follow. Seeing a character who has gone through so much hardship and has struggled so much to even remember bits of her past is heartbreaking. That is why, when we see her succeed in something she has been wanting, we can't help but cheer along with her. Also, seeing someone as skilled and intimidating as her struggle with very common mental health issues made her so much more relatable. How does she stay hidden from psychics and high-tech machines like Xavier's Cerebro? When Elektra trained with the hand, she learned a lot of new things. The hand trained her psychic abilities and fine-tuned them quite a bit, making Elektra the perfect weapon. Now, one of the main things that the hand taught her was how to form a shield around her mind. As we have discussed before, Elektra is able to reach out to people who are on the same level of mental discipline as hers to communicate with them telepathically. But that also means that her mind can be intruded upon by others as well. Not only that, there are several mutants who are out in the Marvel Universe who can easily intrude and infiltrate her mind. So, in order to prevent anyone from doing all of that and more, Elektra learned how to create a shield around her mind. This shield is so strong that it can effectively hide her from not only other mutants, but also machines like Cerebro. Can Elektra's silent scream kill someone? Being an extremely skilled martial artist with psychic abilities makes Elektra quite the scary opponent to go up against, but that is not all that she has in her arsenal. As we would soon come to learn, Elektra has something known as the silent scream. This move was something that was initially used by Shang-Chi. This move requires Elektra to focus on her chi, that is, the energy from her consciousness, and blow it out at people by puckering her lips. This produces this extremely high-pitched scream, which can immediately incapacitate anyone who is near her by turning them deaf and making them disoriented. If she focuses it on one person, the silent scream can even kill that person. Nervous system mastery. How does she control pain, emotion, and bleeding? If there was any character who truly lived up to all the fantastical powers we expected a ninja to have, it would be Elektra herself. She is highly trained in ninjutsu, and paired with her body, which is the pinnacle of human physique, she truly is a mesmerizing character. She can stay in the shadows completely undetected, and she can move quickly in broad daylight, preventing anyone from seeing her movement. Now, all of these things require her to go through copious amounts of training that led to an incredible mind-muscle connection. This led to her developing this eerie control over her nervous system that allows her to control her emotion, how much pain she feels, and even bleeding. Elektra has this control over her immune system that allows her to fight off infection and whatnot. I mean, with all of her abilities and her training, being a ninja really suits her because, honestly, this is exactly how we imagine a ninja to be. Does she have resurrection ability? When Elektra returned to Matt's world after disappearing post her father's death, she was barely the girl that Matt remembered her to be. She was working as an assassin, and there was no hiding that she had quite a few shady ties. It was very clear that Elektra and Matt were not on the same team. At one point, Elektra was working for Kingpin as his chief assassin. Now, when you are working as the chief assassin and getting so much attention, there has to be someone who will be jealous of you and your success, and in this case, it was Bullseye. Man genuinely could not accept the fact that Elektra was on the top rank, and he was not. At one point, Elektra was given the assignment to go and kill Foggy, Matt's best friend. However, when Foggy recognized her as Matt's ex-girlfriend from their university date, Elektra could not go through with it. This was a good enough excuse for Bullseye to start figuring out a way to get that main assassin rank that he had been after. So, he decided that the best way he could rise in the ranks and in Kingpin's eyes would be by killing off Elektra. He impaled her on her own side, and Elektra died in Matt's arm. However, Elektra's death would mean that one of the best assassins would be gone, and the Hand did not want that. So they stole her dead body and tried to resurrect her in a way that would make her loyal to them, and only them. An old member from Chast called Stone helped prevent this disaster from happening. Even though Frank Miller, the creator, wanted Elektra gone, her popularity was far too much than expected. So with that, our ninja assassin remained. Does she have any weaknesses? Throughout the whole video, we have been harping non-stop about what makes Elektra so cool, so strong, and so powerful. But that does not mean that she does not have weaknesses. As a matter of fact, she does. And it is her psychic ability. See, Elektra was not born with this gift per se. She mastered most of her abilities by training extremely hard when she was under the Hand. Also, thanks to the Hand resurrecting her, her link with the demigod beast became stronger than ever. While sure, the link with the demigod gave her quite a few psychic ability, and the Hand helped her fine-tune them. There is no denying that by going through training with the Hand, Elektra signed herself up to be haunted by the demigod beast for the rest of her life, ever since she broke away from the Hand, and this definitely acts as a weakness as it affects her mentally. Marvelous verdict. There are very few characters who are as fan-favorite as Elektra is. She is honestly inspiring for a lot of fans, even if you do not like the Jennifer Garner version of Elektra. As the movie made her seem more goofy than she is, you have to admit that the Daredevil TV series did the popular character the justice she deserved. Elektra is a comforting character for a lot of us. While her first ever meeting with Matt on the university campus made her seem like this really sweet girl standing at 5'9" with pretty blue eyes, seeing her transform into the cold-blooded assassin with shady ties is something that gave her more layers as a character, and we cannot help but love that. And if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe.